As humans, it is pretty normal for us to fight or argue against various topics in our lives. The goals of each sport, favorite music band, must enroll universities, etc. What I want to ask you here is that the winner of the debate, what could you reasonably do to become one? I mean, if you have read the thumbnail, you must know which method I'm going to talk about today. If you have already forgotten, don't be so worried because I will tell it to you right now. According to Cambridge Dictionary, a hypocrite is someone who says they have particular moral beliefs but behaves in ways that shows these are not sincere. In layman's terms, someone is a hypocrite when they do things the opposite of what they say. For example, if a man says that he supports the act of being selflessness, but he's a selfish dude, that man is a hypocritical person. The question right now is, how? How do we spot a hypocrite? Well, there are many ways to identify if someone is being hypocritical or not. But in today's video, I will bring one of the proper ways to do it. From the defense of Socrates in the trial of Socrates, a book written by Socrates' student Plato. I know, 2 videos about the same person in a row, but trust me, you will not be disappointed. Or at least I hope so. The method is used by Socrates during his defense against an impeachment from a young man called Meletus. Yeah, it's the guy that Socrates was talking about while answering Euthyphro's conversation about the reason why he would come to the courtroom today and blah blah blah. Yeah. The major accuser is the man himself, Meletus. The part I will be discussing about is the allegation that Socrates does not believe in God and teach teenagers about spirits that are not commonly known or respected in the city, thus corrupting them with his deviant lessons. You don't need to worry about the latter claim though, because the method mainly focuses on him trying to disclose the hypocrisy in Meletus' claim that he is an atheist. He starts the method right after Meletus accused him of being an absolute atheist. The first question that Socrates asks Meletus is, can a man believe in spiritual and divine agencies and not in spirits or demigods? Meletus answered, no, he cannot. Socrates then further elaborated his point. According to the indictment from Meletus, he teaches and believes in divine or spiritual agencies. So that means Meletus' claim about Socrates has already presupposed the fact that Socrates does believe in spiritual agencies, which makes him also believes in spirits and demigods. In this sense, demigod is kinda like a baby of a god and another mortal. Yeah, like mostly humans, sometimes birds, I guess, I don't know. Okay, now the second question. What are spirits or demigods? Are they not either gods or sons of gods? Is that true? Meletus affirmed the question. Yes, that is indeed true. After Meletus' affirmation, Socrates explained why Meletus has fallen right into his trap, stating, but this is just the ingenious riddle of which I was speaking. The demigods or spirits are gods, and you say first that I don't believe in gods, and then again that I do believe in gods. That is, if I believe in demigods, for if the demigods are the illegitimate sons of gods, whether by the nymphs or by any other mothers as is thought, that, as all men will allow, necessarily implies the existence of their parents. You might as well affirm the existence of mules and deny that of horses and asses. What Socrates was trying to say here is that if the existence of one thing, I will define it as X, depends on the existence of another thing, in which I will define it as Y, that another thing must be true or simply exist. In this case, the existence of one thing or X is Socrates believing that demigods exist, which those demigods come from a god and a mortal, implying that the gods or Y must exist in order for the claim to be true. The method that I have presented to you is what is called deductive reasoning. It is a logical approach in which you progress from general ideas to specific conclusions, where the premises, things that you say support your claim, must be sound and legit in order to be regarded as true. In this scenario, first, Socrates believes in demigods. The second premise, demigods derive from gods and mortals. So, the conclusion is, therefore, gods must exist. But, in order to identify a hypocrite, we must use what is called an reductio ad absurdum. It's a Latin phrase for reduction to absurdity. It is a method of disproving a claim by showing its logical contradictions, which the method will initially assume that the claim is true and dissecting parts of the claim, which leads to contradictions and disproving the claim itself. In the case of Socrates' trial, Meletus said that Socrates don't believe in gods, but believe in demigods. Demigods derive from gods and mortals. Socrates believing in demigods entails he must believe in gods. Conclusion is, therefore, Meletus is wrong. It's kind of a lot to digest in. I hope you guys are still fine right there in front of the screen. Alright, so now let's talk about our initial question. How do we spot a hypocrite? Well, my answer is just do what Socrates did to Meletus. Find a claim that the one you are talking to has spat out that we can use to prove their point wrong. By the way, the definition of a hypocrite in this sense might not be the exact translation of doing what you have said you won't do. Rather, it is a term describing a person who has a claim that is contradictory in its premises or logical hypocrisy. By trying to use the reductio ad absurdum, or what I firstly call as the method. For example, if you and your friends are arguing about the goat of basketball, you say that your goat is Nikola Jokic, and your friend, let's say his name is Dave, say that he thinks LeBron is the goat, but while arguing with him, he accidentally let out his notion that the amount of NBA championships each player has greatly impacted their GOAT meter. Jokic has only one whereas LeBron has 4. For this reason, did Dave win the argument because LeBron has more rings than Jokic? No, because according to what Dave has affirmed, the GOAT is neither LeBron or Jokic. It is Bill Russell with 11 rings. Then you can summarize the claim in an order like this. Dave said that LeBron is the GOAT. Dave said that the championships each player have greatly affects their probability to acquire the GOAT status. LeBron has 4 rings, meanwhile Bill Russell has 11. The conclusion here is that, therefore, Dave is wrong and Bill Russell is the GOAT. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the topic of today's video. So I hope you have learned a thing or two, or at the very least have fun while watching the video, and see you next time. Bye.